Next step is to cut the aileron skins to length and cut the angles as they are illustrated here in the plans. Overall length is 38 and 29/32. Then I have an angled cut back to and 19/32 from that overall length on this side. And on this end, up at the top, there's a cut 3 and 9/32 back from the end. So here's the skin, already pre-folded from the factory, which is nice so I don't need a long bending break. And here's the overall length of 38 and 29/32. And per the plans, down at this end, I have to bring it back 2 and 19/32. So there's that measurement. So from this point back up to this point, we're going to have an angled cut. And then at the top edge here, it has to be back 3 and 19/32. So here is that measurement, 3 and 9/32, 3 and 9/32 back from the overall length. So again, I'm going to have an angled cut from here to here. So I'm going to mark those lines. So I'm going to mark all these angled lines, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, my cut line should be what's depicted there in solid line. And then the dashed lines, that one at the top there, that one, should be that line. And then the other line, the straight line going from the top to the bottom there, should be this line. Those are my cut lines. And so now I'm going to take this and cut it. Before I cut, there are two other cutouts to be made. On the end of the aileron here, there's a cutout to be made here that is 9/32 of an inch from the end, 15/32 in from the bend, the lower bend, and the full length is 1 and 31/32, the other end of the cutout from that end. And that's to accommodate this. Okay, so once I put this in the skin, I've already marked these, by the way. Once I put this in the skin in the assembly later, this gets pushed in a little bit further, and this will accommodate that. And there is one other cutout for the counterbalance, and that is 32 7/8 from the end, 1 1/4 inch wide, and it starts 3/16 of an inch from the bend here, and it goes all the way to the end. So here it is. The measurements are done, marks are done, and that it's cut all the way to the end here. All right, so now I can go make my cuts. Okay, it's been cut. I cut this little notch out, keeping a 1/16 inch corner radius, and that was done with an 1/8 inch round file, and filed everything nice and smooth. Same thing with here. The radius was done with the file, and this was cut for the plan all the way through, like it's shown here. And then these edges, hold on, put this back together. Cut. Let's see. Put this back the way it was on the plan sheet. So on the plan sheet, it looks like that. So there's that cut. And then looking at it from this end is essentially what you're seeing here. So everything's been cut, and what I did was I first tried cutting with shears, and it just wasn't going well. As a matter of fact, it kind of left a little tiny rough edge here. You can just barely see it smoothed out fairly well. So I cut it with a cutoff wheel on a small angle grinder, and I did it, outside the line first because I wasn't very confident in getting close to the line with that. Then I went back with a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel, and I got a lot closer to the line. And then I finished it with either the Scotch-Brite wheel or a file all the way around. And then after I was done, I removed the plastic. Just so you can see where all the cut lines are and how nice and clean everything turned out. Usually I'll leave the plastic on except for rivet lines where the ribs are going to go in and where the hinge will be riveted. You don't want the plastic underneath the material where you're going to be riveting. So this one's done, and now I have to cut the other one. So same thing except opposite. So this is the right hand aileron. And so now we need the left-hand aileron, so everything will be opposite. In other words, the notch is going to be on that side. This cutout and all those angle cuts will be on the outboard side, the left-hand side. All right, let's do it. Before I cut the second one, I figured I'd give everything a little test fitting. So this is the aileron drive, and it fits in that notch. You see that? And there's the hinge aligned 3/4 of an inch in from this edge. And here's the counterbalance put in place. And those extra holes in the hinge line up right where they're supposed to. Seems to be right on. So that all looks good. Pretty cool. All right, cutting the next one. In cutting the aileron skin to length, first I do a very rough cut, obviously very, very rough, as you can see, using a small cutoff wheel. And then I'll go back and get it a little closer with the Dremel tool with the cutoff wheel, and then I'll do some final fitting with a file. So my next step is the Dremel to get it a little closer to the line and smoother. Both aileron skins are now cut to size and finished, and all the cutouts are done, and those inner corners are radiused to a 1/16 of an inch radius using a 1/8 inch round file. Everything else has been filed and smoothed off very nicely. Those are the cutouts for the counterbalances. These are the cutouts for the drive ribs, there and there. And so the cuts are all done. The counterbalances are done. The drive ribs are done. The other rib is done. Everything on this plan sheet, aileron details, has been completed. So now we're moving on to the next plan sheet. Aileron assembly. And this first piece of the assembly, the counterbalance assembly, is already done. We already did that one. So next thing we're going to move on to here is marking all the holes necessary for the ribs.